Hey everyone, Benz95, and I'm back with a new video. And in this one, I'm going to be showing you my recent vinyl finds that I got from back in the second half of May. And this is something I should have gotten done a little earlier, but I've had a lot of records to listen to that I've purchased over the course of several weeks, and I haven't gotten around to making any videos, so that's why I've been MIA. And so now is the time to get these videos done, show you all these records. So before I begin, I just hope everybody's doing fine, staying healthy, staying positive, I just sending positive vibes your way, and I hope everybody can continue to get through this like I am. And yeah, so without further ado, let's begin the video. So the first record I'm going to show you is by The Who. This is Tommy, their 1969 classic rock opera double album. And yeah, this is near mint, triple gatefold. It's kind of falling apart here at the bottom, but I never noticed that when I bought it. I think it just started doing that, but as long as I'm careful, it'll stay that way. Now, I have a bit of a gripe with this record, and that being that the running order is a little weird. Now, as you can see with record 1, it says record 1, side 1, and then the next side says record 1, side 4. Rather unusual. Now with record 2, as you can see, record 2, side 2, record 2, side 3. Now I don't know if that was purely accidental, that it was meant to be pressed that way in that very unusual order, song order. I'm not quite sure if that was just an accident. Let me know in the comments if you have that record and it has that same unusual running order. I think it was just an accident, because I don't know if that could be done on purpose. I mean, that just seems very strange. And something also that I came across was this booklet, and it was really cool artwork from the album. As you can see, really cool stuff. Now, I don't think this is the complete booklet. I'm not quite sure. It looks like there might be some pages missing. Or maybe not, I don't know. But I'm just going to cover that part up. I mean, it's covered up well enough by the shadow. But still, I don't want to take any risks getting this video demonetized. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff. And yeah, I mean, regardless of that little error you know, if you can call it that. Still a great album. You know, you got songs like Overture, It's a Boy, You Didn't Hear It, Amazing Journey, Sparks, Eyesight to the Blind, Christmas, Cousin Kevin, The Acid Queen, Underture, Do You Think It's Alright, Fiddle About, Pinball Wizard, There's a Doctor I Found, Go to the Mirror, Boy, Tommy Can You Hear Me, Smash the Mirror, Sensation, Miracle Cure, Sally Simpson, I'm Free, Welcome, Tommy's Holiday Camp, and we're not gonna take it. You know, just a classic album that I'm glad to have a copy of. That's, you know, playable. Next is by the MC5. This is Kick Out the Jams from 1969. It's a great proto-punk album, proto-punk live album. You know, songs like Ramblin' Rose, Kick Out the Jams, Come Together, Rocket Reducer number 62, Rama Lama, Fa Fa Fa, Borderline, Motor City's Burning, I Want You Right Now, and Starship. Here's the gatefold. Been wanting this album for a long time, you know, since discovering it in the 500 Greatest Albums of All Time. And something I was really surprised by was when I pulled it out of the sleeve, it came on it was pressed on this really nice colored vinyl here. Red, white, and blue colored vinyl. It's like a swirl. It's just gorgeous. You know, when I open records and you expect things like that. I mean, you would expect to see it on like the hype sticker where it would say, you know, colored vinyl, but I didn't expect to see that. You know, it didn't say that on the hype sticker. So, I mean, again, this is just fantastic. Next is Deep Purple, their debut album, Shades of Deep Purple. This was the album that featured Mark I, Rod Evans on vocals, Richie Blackmon guitar, John Lord on keyboards and organ, Nick Semper on bass, and Ian Pace on drums. And, you know, features their most well-known song off this, Hush. Also features covers of I'm So Glad, Help by the Beatles, and Hey Joe. And this album, you know, their first few albums were very much kind of, you know, psychedelic, rock oriented, with kind of a, maybe not a hint of progressive rock. It was, I guess you can say that. It was a little bit progressive rock at times, and it was very blues rock oriented. And then by the time Mark II rolled around, that's when they became more in tune with their heavy metal sound that they would be known for. But yeah, this is a very good debut album. Uriah Heep, the Magician's Birthday. Some really cool artwork by Roger Dean. And this is like, you know, heavy metal, progressive rock music found on this. Songs like Sunrise, Spider Woman, Blind Eye, Echoes in the Dark, Rain, Sweet Lorraine, Tales, The Magician's Birthday. You know, this is some really good stuff by Uriah Heep, and I'm really happy to finally have some stuff of theirs as the collection. Hoping to get some more down the road. UK, this is their self-titled debut album. And what an album it is. This is a great, great album. This is probably the best progressive rock album I've heard in a long time. And yeah, so UK are a supergroup that featured John Wetton on vocals and bass. And John Wetton was involved with, you know, he was involved with quite a few projects. I mean, he was a part of Roxy Music for a little while. He was a part of the band Family. Um, he would later go on to be a part of King Crimson and Asia. Eddie Jobson was involved with Eddie Jobson. He played electric violin, keyboards, and electronics. He played electric violin with Roxy Music before this. Alan Holdsworth on guitars. I don't know too much about Alan Holdsworth, but he's a very good guitar player. And I mean, everybody knows who Bill Bruford is. He's an amazing drummer who was a part of Yes, King Crimson, and Genesis. And you know, he had his own band after that. And you know, he's just fantastic drummer. And this is, you know, just such a great album from beginning to end. In the Dead of Night, you know, side one's In the Dead of Night, By the Light of Day, Presto Vivace, and Reprise, 30 Years. Side two is probably the best side. Alaska, Time to Kill is a great song. Nevermore, Mental Medication is a great closing track. You know, this is just a fantastic record, fantastic progressive rock album that I highly recommend you check out if you're into progressive rock music. Just brilliant. Some more Bowie. This is Lodger. Here's the record. And the gatefold. Right, that was the gatefold horizontally or vertically, and of course here's the record in its true form, or the inner gatefold. And yeah, I mean, some rather interesting pictures in here. A rather unusual, you know, album cover itself, you know, but yeah, this is part 3 of the trilogy, the Berlin trilogy, and it's less experimental and more kind of artsy. You know, this is the album that I guess this kind of pointed towards Bowie going into that, you know, pop-oriented direction, a little bit more pop-oriented, commercial-oriented direction that he would go into the 1980s. So this was sort of like his departure from experimentation, you know, art rock music. But regardless, it's still a good album, you know, still some good tunes. And something I'd like to show you that I didn't show you in my last video, or the last record I showed you by Bowie, Heroes, is that the label is modeled after the RCA label from around the 1970s. And what they did with the font is they wrote Bowie in RCA font, which I thought was kind of cool. So that's pretty cool to find that. So yeah, the songs on here, Fantastic Voyage, African Night Flight, Move On, Yeah Assassin, Red Sails. Side 2, probably the best side. DJ, Look Back in Anger, Boys Keep Swinging, that's a great song. Repetition, and Red Money. So yeah, I'd say, you know, it'll maybe grow on me a little bit more. I mean, I wasn't really, I guess, sold on it at first, as much as I was with Heroes, but it's still, you know, a good album, still a very good album, and you know, I'll learn to like it a bit more. Next is by Todd Rundgren. This is Nearly Human. And this is a very good album. I love Todd Rundgren's music, and really happy to finally have this record. Todd is God to me. He anything he's touched turns to gold. The work he's done, starting off in his career with Nas, his solo career, the stuff he did in between that, starting Utopia, the stuff he's produced for artists, he's just a talent. Just a multi-talented artist, brilliant. And this album, very Blue-Eyed Soul vibes going, in this album. And, you got songs like The Want of a Nail, which is a great opening track. The Waiting Game, Parallel Lines, Unloved Children, Can't Stop Running, Fidelity, Feel It, Hawking, and I Love My Life, which is a pretty good closing track because it's got like this gospel vibe to it. It sounds like there's a gospel choir kind of, a part of it, and just kind of bringing joy, and cheerfulness. It's very cheerful and joyful. It's just a nice song, and happy to have this album finally in my collection. Couple more. Love and Rockets, self-titled album from 1989. And Love and Rockets were known for being, a band that clearly are, alternative, post-punk, and this album, it seemed like they were taking a page out of Jesus and Mary Chain, who were, a pretty huge band during the alternative rock, college rock, underground sound of that time, because of their noise rock, very influential band. And I guess they were taking a page out of that, and they decided to get noisy. For example, a song like Motorcycle is just very noise rock oriented track, and that's my favorite song by off this album. But there's some other really good songs on here. I can't remember which songs that I liked. I mean, as a whole, it's a good album, a very good album. But I can't remember which other songs I really liked. And a song I didn't realize was on here was "So Alive," which is their most well-known song in their discography. And when I found out that song was on here, I was like, awesome, And for those who don't know who this band is, they were a band that kind of came out of the ashes, or rose out of the ashes of the goth rock band Bauhaus that was fronted by Peter Murphy. And so members David J., Daniel Ash, and Kevin Haskins, those are the guys who formed this band. And this is a very good album. Finally, we have The Replacements, Tim. And, this is a very, very good album by them. And I'm really happy to finally have. And it's got many great songs on here. And, comes on this really nice colored limited edition magenta translucent vinyl. And side one is right here. It's really gorgeous colored vinyl. And all the records that I've been getting lately mostly have been on colored vinyl. And that's pretty cool, Because, I mean, when I was... First few albums that I got on colored vinyl, excuse me, it just didn't quite work out in my favor. I mean, the first album I ever bought, but which was a Tim Buckley album, and it was not, it didn't play well, and I was like, I don't think I ever want to get any colored vinyl again. But then the second time I did get colored vinyl, by REM, their limited edition Record Store Day exclusive copy of Chronic Town, it played really well, and I was really happy about that. And ever since then, anytime I get a colored vinyl record, It's been fantastic. So yeah, really happy to have this record. So that pretty much does it for my finds from the month of May, or the second half of May, and I'll be back with some more records to show you, and those are pretty much going to be covering the month of June. And yeah, so stay tuned for those videos, and yeah, leave a like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think, and I'll be back again. Probably not gonna make it today because it was already quite stressful to get this done, but I'm going to get the next one done as soon as possible, and so stay tuned for that. So yeah, again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.